You're just moments away from a brand new episode of WTF Nations Radio's Pop Culture Warrior, hosted by the dynamic duo CQ and Radar. Pop Culture Warrior is your number one source for all things entertainment. If it's happening in TV, movies, video games, or comedy, they're all over it. And don't forget to say hi in the comments below. And while you're at it, let the boys know what you think and what you'd like to hear them talk about. Now strap in and get comfortable, because you're in for one hell of a ride. This is Pop Culture Warrior. Shots.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Welcome, one and all. Today is August 17th, 2021. This is episode 68 of Pop Culture Warrior, the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture, so you don't have to. I am, without a doubt, I'm CQ. I'm the Pop Culture Warrior. And with me, as always, is my very own understudy, the man in the bubble, the voice of the unpop cultured, the very talented Mr. Radar. Tell the people what's up.
What's up, everybody?
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm fucking awesome.
It's
Fucking awesome. How are you?
Tuesday, brother. I'm always good on Tuesday night. I'll be honest. I'm going to start out, in case people can pick it up. Like, I have been super sick. Like, I'm on the the tail end of it. Not the Rona. I don't got the Deltas. I don't got any of the Alpha Bravo Charlie Deltas. I got none of it. Just, you know, is a virus passing around my house, and had a stomach bug, and then it turned into a throat thing, and now I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm here. We're going to do this thing, man. We're going to do it. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I am good.
Yeah.
How are you? Did you do anything fun for Airborne Day?
Airborne Day. It jumped off the roof of my house. Whatever. I was like, wee, airborne.
I made a parachute out of a garbage bag and fucking.
Is it? We were talking about there's been enough airborne activities as of late, so we're gonna skip right over that.
soon.
Big shout out to everybody that's hanging out with us tonight. If you're here, if you're watching, say hi in the chats so that I can see you, so that we can engage. Because I'm so happy you are here. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for joining me in Radar tonight. It's going to be a lovely night. We have some headlines for you, some things that are happening in pop culture, what's happening in movies, TVs, and games. And in the second hour, we have an incredible guest. We have Dominic Burgess. This guy's been in a ton of stuff that you know, that you love. If you're watching this show, he's in stuff that you love. You might recognize him, you might not, but you're sure as hell going to get to know him tonight, and it's going to be a phenomenal conversation. I'm super excited at that. So, what's up, Steven, Rainer, Jim? What's going on, Jim? Jim, I love you, man. You're always around. Aaron, Jack, Heath, you're another one. You guys are awesome, man. Thanks for checking us out. Holly, hey, what's up, Holly?
I want to say this too.
Brandon, Kevin.
I want to get into something real quick. I want to say thank you to everyone who said happy birthday to me on like your little Facebook post.
Yes.
That was cool. Thanks, everybody.
You cut me off, but that was my next thing. It was Radar's birthday just a few short days ago. So happy birthday. If you're so inclined, can you give our boy Radar a big happy birthday in the chat? Because it makes his heart feel so swelled. It's like the Grinch. It
makes my heart feel less empty.
Yeah. It fills the blackness inside his heart, the small crevices that aren't completely shut off. It fills him with some love. You guys are awesome, man. But yeah, we posted on the page, got some people to give some love and some shout outs, man. Love you to death, man. This show is not what it is without this man. The man in the bubble. It is not complete. You look, Radar. I want you to look at me. Look at me.
I'm looking.
You have to look to your left. Look to your left. There you go. You, sir, you complete me. You complete me. There he goes. That's all right. That was the stupidest thing we've ever fucking done on this show. 68 episodes in, and that is the dumbest thing.
Like that.
Oh God, I should have turned your bubble into a heart today. That would have been adorable. Oh, look at that, everybody! Yeah, Jim, Holly, Aaron, Douglas, all of you guys giving out a happy birthday. Yeah, I'll let you read those comments. That's all for you, buddy.
Where my mom is at.
Awesome. All right, so I want to get right into it. So let's see, what are we going to cover tonight? First, let's do movie news.
Oh, you don't want to talk about the
which one? I'm sure I'm going to cover it. Whatever it is you're thinking of.
All right. Well, I'm following your lead, buddy.
All right, I've got a plan. So first up, I was going to cover it last week, but obviously we did story time, which, by the way, it was well reviewed. People really liked the story. People really liked Radar, your interviewing skills. I had comments, people saying that they liked hearing more from Radar. So I think we need to develop like a Radar segment. Just like a Radar soapbox, and you can get on your little soapbox. I can even build like a little picture of a soapbox, and then put your little guy on top of it, and then you do your thing. You
put Marty on it.
Yeah, you do your little rant. Like your head takes over Marty's body, and you just do your rant. So that was last week. I was gonna review Suicide Squad, but instead we talked about the other stuff. So real quick, if you haven't seen Suicide Squad yet, and you like these kind of movies, or even if you're like so on these movies, as long as you don't hate these type of superhero movies, I think Suicide Squad is a watch. I wouldn't say it's a must watch. It's a very good movie. It's a very good movie.
I've heard it's decent.
I've heard from
several sources that it's pretty decent.
I gave it personally an 8 out of 10,
wow.
which puts it it puts it up there. It is not a perfect movie. I think there were areas they could have made better, and certain decisions they made, whatever. But overall, it's got the action, it's got the humor, it's got the heart, It's got the witty banter and dialogue. You know, more or less characters with stories and development. I think maybe again when you have a movie that has like starts out with like 20 something characters and then kind of whittles it down to, you know, whatever 5 or whatever, and then they're kind of bouncing around. It could have been a little bit more character development for my taste. I like to see a bit of an character arc. But overall, it was a good movie. It was a really, really, really good movie. And so I highly recommend it. I saw it both in theaters and on HBO Max at home, and seeing it in theaters is better. I mean, it is what it is. Sorry about it, but man, the movie for me popped way more in theaters than it did at home. And now, obviously, it might have been that I'd already seen it in theaters and was less enthused to see it at home. Yeah, I don't know. So Kaz wants to know, what type of superhero movie is Suicide Squad? Well, the type is superhero movie, even though they're not superheroes. It's in that genre. This is trying to think what kind of a really good category it would fall under. It almost has like parts of it have like almost like a Vietnam documentary feel to it, like a very, you know, in the jungles, war is hell kind of vibe to it. But being that it's a James Gunn movie, he's very erratic in that he doesn't really follow the typical 3-arc structure. He does more like a 5-arc structure and a little bit all over the place. But it was CJ. I'm sorry, I just saw CJ's note. Oh my god, I need the 1508 pop. I hate those things, but Lord, I need this. Yeah, man, I appreciate that. That's our boy Marty. The audience named him Marty because he's a little shaky. If you don't get the reference, I mean, you can Google it.
Sorry about it.
But yeah, man, this was a friend designed this. It is a virtual bobblehead, obviously. It does not exist in the real world, as I can't find anybody who can print it, 3D print it, or make it. It is incredibly difficult to do so. But yeah.
To buy a resin 3D printer.
If you watched last week, we had Frankly Built. Shout out to Frankly Built from YouTube. Awesome dude. Awesome dude. And yeah, his amazing dude. I've been thinking about it all week. I've been sick. I've been laying in my bed. Sick, and I'm like, do I buy it? Do I buy the 3D printer? Do I buy it? I can print out prizes for people. Like, hey, you want a Marty bobblehead, you know? Whatever. I don't know. Whatever. So point conclusion, Suicide Squad, 8 out of 10, man. Very much worth a watch. At the very least, watch it on HBO Max. It's free if you have an account. Watch it. It is a solid, good movie. It is a raunchy, good, fun time. Not for the kiddies, because there's lots of gore and beheadment. Beheadment? I'm gonna go with that's a word. Beheadment. To be beheaded. Right. Beheadment. So anyway, so that's that. Free Guy also came out, which is a movie with Ryan Reynolds. Very pop culture. You know me. I'm at day 1 opening of these kinds of movies. Again, I was sick, and I was not gonna be ostracized. You were gonna sit in a theater
coughing.
Yeah.
So everyone thought you had.
People would burn me at the stake if I went out into public, coughing and looking ill, feverish and fluish. So I did not go see it. I will be seeing it in the next couple days. I will put a short review on the page, and we'll talk about it next week because I've heard good things, and I'm excited to see the movie.
And that one is only available in theaters.
That one is only available in theaters. Correct. Okay. Kaz says beheadification. I like that. I don't know, man. Beheadment. I kind of like beheadment, but beheadification. I can co-sign that. I can co-sign that one. So the other thing in movies, they just did the Hollywood red carpet for Shang-Chi. That being said, you know, industry professionals are invited to go see this movie, as well as all the stars and whatnots. But a few people that I follow that I believe give very, very good reviews, solid, trusting reviews, because otherwise everybody's just like, oh my god, they gave me free tickets. It was amazing. So people that I can actually trust and I believe in their reviews. A couple of thoughts. Again, no spoilers, because I don't like spoilers. But from what we're hearing online, these are the comments. Awesome movie. It hits all that Marvel does well. Pacing, humor, character. Adds in action like never before seen in the MCU. Lots of people are about to have a new favorite Marvel hero. Darker than expected. Loads of fun. Integral to the MCU Phase 4 plan. I like that. Another comment was, it's an amazing blend of East meets West. Hong Kong martial arts action comes to the MCU and changes the game. Emotional, beautiful, hilarious. This isn't like any MCU film yet. Wow. What do you think about that? Unlike any we're what, 25 movies in to say that it's unlike anything they've done before.
I believe it's unlike anything they've done before.
Yeah. Which is funny because in one hand they're going, it does everything Marvel does well, but it's unlike anything they've ever done.
Well, I mean, they've said, they've been pretty candid about they've been wanting to do this movie for a while and wanted to do it right.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
That gives me a little bit of hope for it. I'm going to say this though.
Oh God.
No, but hear me out on this one. It very much seems though, when they get this much critical acclaim, kind of suck.
How dare you, sir?
I mean, am I wrong? Like, seriously, like, it kind of seems like when they get all these, like, oh, it's gonna be so amazing and it's so great and it's everything Marvel does, wow. And then you get there and it kind of sucks.
How dare you, sir?
I hope not. I hope it's amazing. I'm actually really excited to see it, and I know that after the whole Black Widow thing, they're not gonna have it on.
Yes, no, they. I don't think any. I really don't think any more Disney properties will be going to the streaming service. Like,
I think there'll be some Disney properties that do it, but I don't think it's going to be Marvel. I don't think they're going to do any of their big hits. I don't think they try like the Eternals and all that. All the big stuff they're not going to do. There might be some like smaller stuff that they do with. I think. I don't think any of their big budget stuff is going to go. Which sucks. I think it sucks. I really, and I know Scarlett Johansson is really, really upset.
I mean,
she's got pretty fucking stinking rich. You know what I mean? Like, how many more hundreds of millions of dollars you really need before you're like, I'm just rich as fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. Hey, Mike, I see you in the chats, buddy. Nice to see you, bro. Thanks for coming out. And for those that wonder, because I get this comment all the time, like, I see you say, like, you respond to a certain comment. Just so you know, and I've said this many times, but I'll say it again. There's like 7 different chat streams that all converge in front of me. And so I'm not making up comments. I'm just reading a comment or saying hi to somebody from a different stream than you're watching from. That's all. Because I do that all the time. Like, I'll be doing one of the interviews, and I'll like, Craig from here, Facebook says, and then they're like, I get people like, I didn't see that comment. Well, sorry, you're not watching in the same place that Craig's watching. I don't know.
Sorry about it.
I don't know what to tell you. Sorry about it.
Craig. No.
I'm not gonna. I don't have time to make up names and people and pretend. Anyway. Oh my goodness.
But anyway, Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Yeah, I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited for it.
I'm not unexcited for it. I'm curious. I will watch it. I honestly, I may not actually watch it in the theater.
Wait, did you just say you may not watch it in theaters?
I'm not entirely sure I'm going to watch it in the theater.
what do I gotta say to you to convince you to go see this movie in theaters?
Well, here's the problem. And here's the problem I have with the theater system in general, and it's a problem I've had for years. Okay, I work 60 to 70 hours a week, right? Good week 50. And then the nights I'm not at work, or the times I'm not at work, I think my kids have soccer games or whatever. Basically, I might have some time like on a Sunday afternoon, and that's if we don't have soccer practice or the kids have something to do or whatever. And that's generally when we all kind of hang out. And
Right.
so I don't want to take 2-3 hours out of that to go sit in the movie theater.
Take the kids with you. That's
No,
bonding
they're
time.
fucking annoying. No, I don't want to have to explain to them what's fucking happening and all. No, kids
This
are
is
fucking
not
annoying.
this. I can almost guarantee you that like this is a self-explanatory kind of movie. I don't think it's. I definitely think it's. There's gonna be
But
seeds.
what I'm okay, and also too, I don't want to take a second mortgage out to take fucking 6 kids to the goddamn movie theater.
That's
It's like $170.
I can
No, I'm
concede
good.
that point. Some theaters. I mean, I know like where I'm at. There's a brand new theater that just opened up, which is now like my buy him a ticket online. There you go, Jim. I like that. I'm gonna
Hmm.
buy you a ticket
Doesn't matter.
online, and that
Doesn't
way
matter
you have to.
because
You
the
have to
one,
go.
it's like one theater in the whole fucking Northern Black Hills, Northern Hills Cinema. I don't even know if they're open. I honestly don't even know if there's a movie theater here.
Yeah. Well, there's one that opened up near me that's brand new, and the it's like $11. Which I mean, obviously, if I had 6 kids, then that's you're talking like $77. But I mean,
Stupid.
11 is much less than alternatives of like 15, 18. I've seen as high as 22. Hey Pete, thanks for checking us out, man. Thanks for coming by.
Hmm.
Um, I am.
Well, they have Jungle Cruise playing. They do have Free Guy
There you go. Oh yeah,
and
Alicia in the
Smack.
comments says GovX, which is a popular government discount website, sells discounted tickets, movie tickets. There you go.
Oh, there's Paw Patrol the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, starts Friday. Evanescence with Hugh Jackman.
Reminiscence? Reminiscence? Remnant.
With Hugh Jackman, it looks good.
Yeah, it's like a sci-fi thriller thing that he's trying out.
Suicide Squad ends Wednesday.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Um. So, yeah.
Oh, so they are open, I guess. What? I mean, for shits and giggles.
Is it Kaz? See, Kaz gets me. Kaz gets me. Pete doesn't exist. You know he does. He's called in before. He exists. I mean,
I'm, he does too. Pretty sure about it.
pretty sure about it. All right. So with that, I got one last thing in movie news. I'm gonna share with you guys the latest trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I hope this doesn't get us zucked. The last time I shared something, it got us zucked. I have a theory. I think I fixed it. We'll see. So buckle up and enjoy. I'm gonna hopefully not blow everybody's eardrums out because I didn't have a chance to test the audio. So we'll find out. Ghostbusters. Of the there you go. Is that better? That better.
Yes,
What do you guys think of the trailer?
I'm in. Ooh, there's a no sound.
Oh god damn it. Hang on a second. What the hell just changed?
What you did?
How
I heard you. No, there we go.
about why is it
It's better.
Let's try it. Let's try it now.
All right. Is that good? Can you hear us?
Can you guys hear me now? All right. I think okay. There we go. That fixed it. Sorry, guys. Sorry. That was
Sorry
weird.
about
As
it.
soon as I played the trailer, it just did like a weird audio thing. Sorry about that.
Well, I don't know. You said you fixed it, and then you said it not good. No
Well,
more.
okay. Here's the problem. Your guys, you listen. You, the audience, are awesome at letting me know immediately. But there's a small delay, so I fixed it. But I was still getting comments that said you couldn't hear me. So I tried to fix it again, which then broke it again. So
Yeah, it fit.
we're
man.
good.
Not working.
We're good.
Yeah.
We are good. We are good, folks. Yes. Thank you all for letting me know. Radar, you're supposed to be on top of these things, man. Come on.
I can't hear it either.
Fix.
I had to turn all my sound off, or else it echoes through my shit. Yeah, right.
Fix this
Like
shit.
preemptive suckification, probably.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Oh yeah, that one made me nervous. Anyway, so the trailer, I like it, man. I feel
A medium.
I
No, I'm just
feel
kidding.
they're headed in the right direction.
I think so. I think it's going to be considerably better than the last Ghostbusters.
Well, that's you're comparing apples to pieces of shit. So yes.
Well, I don't know. I don't like apples.
So then take a piece of shit. I don't know. Yeah. So
you shit for breakfast.
So yeah, and for those that don't know, it's really cool because the original director of 1 and 2 obviously has since passed. His son is directing this movie.
Good.
So the son of the original director has picked everything up and said, I will carry the torch. I will reignite the flame that is Ghostbusters and wash away the filth that was brought upon us. But hey, these things happen. And I don't shit on it because it was a female-led Ghostbusters. I shit on it because it was a terrible Ghostbusters movie.
Yes.
Period. The end. Okay. Let's see. Before all the
I think we
sound
should
comments.
to television news now.
Yes. There was a couple comments.
There was a new show that dropped.
Yes, there is. We're gonna get into that.
All right.
Hang on a second. Yeah. So, Aaron, you said I'm excited for Let There Be Carnage. I want it to be good. I want it to be good. I am a huge Spider-Man fan, and by proxy, a Venom fan. Okay. I want it to be good, but my spidey senses are tingling.
Oh yeah.
And I'm concerned. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm concerned. But I want it to be good. I really do. Alicia says, I've been impatiently waiting for this. Yes, so have I. It's supposed to have come and gone long ago. But, fuck. Here we are. Aaron says, hope doesn't disappoint. Also hope that it isn't used as some virtue signaling propaganda piece. I hope so. We'll see. Yeah. Scott, I agree with you. Trash movie. Not because it was female led. I still think a female led Ghostbusters movie could be good. It could be good. That was just a bad movie. It was just a bad, take out all the Ghostbuster stuff. It's just a bad movie.
Yeah.
It
wasn't a bad Ghostbusters movie. It was a bad movie all the way around.
Yeah. And I like the actresses involved. I do. Yeah. I like other movies they've been in. I like other work that they have. Nothing against the women. Nothing against the specific women, the group of women, or women in general. It just sucked as a movie. And there's plenty of male-led Marvel movies that suck. Mm-hmm. Not lately, but in the past, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Not too distant past.
Yeah. Yeah.
I watched Black Widow again the other day.
Okay, I'm curious. You've piqued my interest.
Dude, I can't believe that. Okay, when they do the powder thing, the fairy dust bullshit. That's the worst fucking CGI ever, dude. Come on, fucking come on, Marvel. really?
What did you want? Like Disney Pixar dust? Like the.
It was shit, dude.
It looks like a pink mist. And what else do you want?
Not even a good pink mist. It was fucking ridiculous. It was so fucking.
Yeah. Any one of us that's
to me, like that was like the fucking. It's like having like a bunch of fucking really, really good chocolate chip cookies, and then having one fucking oatmeal raisin in the middle you didn't know was there, and you take a bite out of it and want to fucking.
Oh my god, I was gagged. Sounds horrible.
See, that's how I felt. Everything was going great, almost gagged, then I felt better again.
All right. Moving on to TV news. Someone's very excited to get into TV news. So, obviously, the big thing that dropped last week was
Seinfeld.
Was the first episode of the new Disney Plus series, What If? It's a show in which, now that we've left Loki behind and we've opened up the door to all these multiversal variants of things that could happen, right? Such as like a female Loki. Now we open the door up to all these other stories of things that could happen. And so the first episode was, what if Peggy Carter had gotten the super soldier serum instead of Steve Rogers? And we get Captain Carter, or I don't know, like Captain Britain, but whatever. I'm assuming you saw it.
I did.
What did you think?
I think that it did a very, very good job of telling the story of Captain America, the First Avenger, in like Reader Digest form. Like, it was just like if she would have been Captain America, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, got the super soldier serum.
That's the idea.
But I think that it very much just paralleled the same plot of that movie.
Right. I mean, that's the idea, is that they're going to take a specific moment, right? So we're talking Captain America First Avenger, the movie, to our movie, condense it and then make that one X variable of a change, right? So in this movie, the change, the what if, is that when they said, "Oh, Peggy, you should go upstairs and sit with the others," which was go back to the original movie, you'll see it. And she goes, "Okay," and she goes up into the booth. In this one, she goes, "Nah, I'm going to stay here." And because she stays there, everybody stays there. And because everybody stays there, the bomb thing happens. And then all these changes happen. Now, like you said, the majority of beats of the movie are very similar. The train heist,
I do love when Bucky was falling off the train and she grabbed him, and he's like, "Oh, you could have ripped my arm off," or something like that.
Yeah, basically. Oh, yeah,
that made me kind of chuckle.
Yeah, and it was so cool to see a lot of these people return for their characters. Obviously, Sebastian Stan is Bucky; he's still playing Bucky, but Peggy Carter really hasn't had a role in Marvel since her Agent Carter series, and so to see her, bring back the voice, they brought back the voice of Arnim Zola, did not bring back the Red Skull, the guy we know, Hugo Weaving, but they brought in the guy that played Red Skull in Endgame.
Yes.
So they brought his voice, and so bringing back these people, the voices that we know and love, is very cool. They brought back the guy that played Dum Dum Dugan and all these other people. Mm-hmm. They didn't need to bring back what's his name? Not Harrison Ford.
Captain fucking America?
No, that was the one guy. Chris Evans did not play the voice of Steve Rogers.
Yeah,
they got it somebody else who did a very good job. I thought he did a good job. Tommy Lee Jones, that's the guy I was thinking of. That was in the first movie. That technically they killed him off before he even said anything, so they didn't need to bring his voice back. But yeah, so the idea that all these alternate things that can happen, we know the next episode is what if T'Challa was basically taken instead of Chris Pratt's character, Peter Quill, and became Star-Lord. So basically, instead of becoming Black Panther, T'Challa becomes Star-Lord. Mm-hmm. Because instead of the little white boy getting pulled up into space, they take the little black boy. And so, how does he become Star-Lord when realistically Star-Lord was tied to the fact that his mother called him Star-Lord, and that was kind of where he got the name. But whatever. And
his dad's,
we'll skip.
His dad's a planet.
Yeah, we'll skip that part. But yeah, so and also such a big heartwarming thing is that this will be the very last performance of Chadwick Boseman's career.
Yes.
Is reading the lines for this character, and something I was reading about that they said he was very, very excited to do, and had planned on being around longer because they said as they were recording the lines, he was very excited to do Black Panther 2. Like he was already talking about Black Panther 2 and like what little subtle changes he was going to be making in how he approached the character, and so it's I think going to be very heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time to be able to hear his voice and to see him play that character one last time. So very exciting to see that. But we know,
I'm
go
going
ahead.
to say this though, like I kind of don't want to have that be. I want to enjoy it for what it is, because I think that's how he made it. He knew he was sick, right? I'm not trying to be a dick.
Yeah,
about
no,
it.
he knew for about
But like
4 years.
he thought he had more time, and
Yep.
so he didn't like. He wasn't sitting there in that chair doing the voiceover stuff thing. Oh, it's the best thing I'm gonna do, but I'm like, good. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
nope.
I want to appreciate it for the artwork, for the artistry, not for what it represents.
Right. Absolutely.
So
Could not agree more.
And I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be more than fine. I'm really excited for it. I am kind of curious how they're going to pull this. I mean, we didn't. Okay, so we're going to take a step back for a minute.
Sure.
Okay. We've actually introduced a couple characters with this though too.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and this is canon.
Mm-hmm.
Going forward, this could be canon.
This is canon. Yeah.
So the Watcher.
Yep.
We kind of skirted that a little bit. Was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yep.
The Watchers were.
Yep. It's kind of skimmed right over them, but yeah.
Yeah. And they weren't introduced as characters, but they were there.
Mm-hmm.
But what's the fucking Kraken looking deal too?
Yeah, little space monster. A lot of people said it looked like, if you remember the beginning of Guardians Part 2, they fought that like tentacle monster thing back when Baby Groot's dancing in the opening. Mm-hmm. A lot of people were saying it looked like a animated version of that. So, I mean, maybe.
Is it a thing? Is it going to be a thing moving forward, or is it just like?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think it was just it was a plot device, right? Because in Captain America's world, in the was it the sacred timeline? Use the proper words. Captain America's frozen in ice. That's how he comes out in our time. So I think they just needed a plot device, a MacGuffin, if you will, to bring Sharon Carter forward to our time. And I think freezing her would have been too on the nose of like same thing. So that's why they used the old classic interdimensional portal.
I will put her in the Tesseract. Now, question on this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in the sacred timeline, okay, the Tesseract is gone, right? Basically. Now they've had 50, 70 years to study it and do work with it and do all the things. It didn't fall into the hands of Hydra, right? It stayed in our hands, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that affect all of the things that, obviously, Bucky's not the Winter Soldier now, right? Like, before I get into all of these things, right?
Man, you're spinning out, bro.
Well, are they going to expand on this, or is this just going to be like, oh, well, it's just a neat story?
So, good question. There has been no official confirmation one way or the other that this story will connect in any way, shape, or form to anything else.
Right. Because here's what I'm saying. And here's why I ask. Before I get too far into this, and maybe it's my brain being all fantastical and bullshit. If it doesn't fucking matter, then why even say it's canon? Right? If they're not going to build and expound off all of these things that they're doing. And maybe it's not every aspect of it, right? Because these are all separate little branches that came off the timeline now.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So it gives them the opportunity to expound off any one or all of these bad branches, right?
That's the
But they don't have to. But I mean, like, it's not just one. Oh, she's Captain Carter now. Fucking, it's a whole lot of things tied into that. Because if you went on this timeline, then there's no Wanda. You know what I mean? There's no Winter Soldier. There's no
Yeah,
all of these
changes are
other
made. Yeah,
all these big character development, these big character arcs that we have aren't things anymore.
right.
It,
Well, so okay, so here's the deal. Um, the whole point of What If is that it just tells a speculative story, and then it moves on. It doesn't have to go anywhere. That being said, there's rumors there will be a What If season 2. So maybe some of the fan favorite characters do make a reappearance. The other thing is they go, well, because this is canon. Let's say, and we talked about this before. Let's say after Phase 4, where all these multiverses are lingering out in space by themselves, if they were somehow able to refold the sacred timeline into existence, there's a possibility that some of these people still exist within the sacred timeline now. So, like, folding in on itself could make it a place where, yes, Steve Rogers, Captain America, is gone now, but all of a sudden, holy shit, here's Haley Atwell live action in the Captain Carter suit, and she's now like a real life player in, you know what I mean, because she came from the animated form and folded back into the universe. So that I'm just saying it's possible. It by no means has it been hinted at or anything like that. It's just a possibility that it could happen. To answer a couple questions that are in the chat, because I do want to answer you guys. Aaron said, "Who would make a good She-Hulk?" So no, so you don't. First of all, don't apologize for the side chat. Love you, man. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for checking us out. That's the whole point. We just chit chat until somebody asks them. So to answer your question, there is someone playing She-Hulk. It's Tatiana Maslany. Look her up. Gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous, and I think she's going to do a phenomenal job with the character. Who do I think besides that could play a good She-Hulk? You know, that's a great question. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I'm thinking, you know, how do you? There's no woman that I can think of that is of the stature, right? Because like She-Hulk's supposed to be like 7 foot tall and, you know, built like feminine shape, but built very muscular. So I can't think of anybody off the top of my head outside of like, you know, female bodybuilders who'd have to be tall and kind of built. I think
what was CGI now?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Either way, because obviously Mark Ruffalo, they didn't juice him up, like they made him CGI. So whoever it plays it, it doesn't really need to be, because this isn't the like the old days with Lou Ferrigno where they paint him green and they're like, boom, you're Hulk. So yeah, I think you can get anybody to play it. But I don't know, who do you guys think would be a good She-Hulk? Obviously, like I said, Tatiana Maslany is the one they chose, and she's already started production on the She-Hulk series, so keep an eye out. Salvador says, did they cancel production on Black Panther 2 because the main actor died? So, no. They kind of hit the pause button, because obviously when he passed, that wasn't anticipated. And so they had to go back and do a lot of rewriting, figure out how to honor the character without, you know, really disrespecting his life and his legacy. They did not want to CGI replace him. They did not want to have him die off screen and just move on with it. So they're coming up with a way to really honor his story. Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever is the movie. It's currently in pre-production. Most of the cast is returning, obviously. Chadwick Boseman will not be. There's also a Wakandan TV series coming out that's going to be about like the Dora Milaje. It's going to like, I don't know. It's nothing certain yet. It's just that it's happening. There's the same way we got a WandaVision and a Loki series. There's going to be a Wakanda series about the Dora Milaje. So we'll see. I think that could be cool with their appearance in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think a show could be an interesting. Put them in very unique, interesting situations, right? Don't give us day-to-day life like, hey, I made coffee, and like put them on like, okay, you know, one episode we're in China, one episode in Australia, one episode like a where in the world is Carmen Sandiego kind of thing. They're off on missions around the world. I think that'd be fascinating.
Actually, would be.
Yeah, to see how they interact with the world. So Scott kind of agreed with us. It's about the multiverse, different universe canon, but honestly don't think it's part of the main story. Can they do this with old cartoons? Rescue Rangers spent a whole lot of episodes trying to get Dale to stop snoring. All right, Jim. I love your cracks, man. Crack jokes are great. Yeah. So so that's that. That's the so another thing I found really fascinating about the What If, because we already know there's gonna be a Marvel Zombies episode, which I'm really excited for. There's gonna be some type of Doctor Strange episode where like he fights an evil version of himself. So I don't know what that's gonna be about, but that's fascinating. We know there's a one where Ultron kind of wins, and Vision becomes like an evil version of Vision. Like he becomes an Ultron Vision thing. There's one where the Guardians of the Galaxy kind of become they're like the Avengers. It's a whole thing. But yeah, so there's a lot of cool episodes coming, which I'm excited for. The director of the What If, or one of the directors, because there's multiple, was talking about how he had pitched an idea that was too risque, that Marvel kind of shot him down. There's a classic storyline in the comics, as well as in, if you remember the 90s Spider-Man animated series, like he had like a fever dream where he turned into a human spider. Mm-hmm. And it really happened in the comics, but in the cartoon series it was more of just like a what if. So they wanted to do an episode where what if the spider bite actually turned into like a human spider, but Marvel was like, no, we're not trying to scar children. we're not gonna, body horrification and all this and all that. So that one was shot down as being too grotesque and scary. The interesting part of this article I read talked about how he said, man, I shot off, we gave them all these ideas. Oh, what if we do this? And what if we do that? What if that? Because a lot of the ideas were shot down, not because they couldn't do it, but because, I quote, it's already being done. And he was like, because, they don't tell these guys the other stuff that's happening around Marvel. They don't say, oh, phase 5 is this, phase 6 is this, and blah, blah, blah. They just tell them, like, here's your swim lane. This is what you can play with. And so he started pitching the ideas. Like, he pitched an idea for Lady Loki. He's like, okay, in this one, Loki, we do the Lady Loki storyline. And they're like, they're like, nope, being done. Nope. Because at the same time, they were shooting the Loki series. So he pitched a bunch of ideas. And he said that quite a few of them actually got shut down. Only the Spider-Man one, because it was kind of like, no, we're just not going to do that. The rest were kind of like, yeah, we're working on it. He goes, I can't say what I pitched because obviously that would give away what Marvel is about to be doing.
Yeah, because he said the She-Hulk and he said the Lady Loki.
Yep, the She-Hulk and the Lady Loki. Can't do it. Yep. So it's pretty cool to see that he's a big fan of the comics. He's a big fan of all this stuff. So if he is a guy like me and he's pitching all these crazy cool ideas we can do, and they're like, we're actually doing it. That makes me very excited for the future of Marvel. Like, that makes me very excited.
Well, and some of that stuff, too, like, they might be in talks about it a little bit, and it may never come to fruition as well. You know what I mean? I'm sure, like, they have people that are working on things, and they're like, oh, would it be cool if we did a blah, 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 and they're like, yeah, we should work on that, and, like, maybe write a script about it and stuff. I'm like, this just doesn't...
that's
always... It's not going to go anywhere, kind of, or,
That's always a possibility. These things happen, right? There's like, they were planning on a full-on Black Panther 2. That was clearly in the plans,
that was in there.
They had to make changes. They had to adjust course. So these things happen. Tragedies pick someone at random. Paul Rudd could say something, tweet something so horrendous that he gets canceled, and they're like, well, there goes Ant-Man 3. That's out the window. You know what I mean? So, like, at any time, these things can change. But the idea that, like, I imagine they have this giant whiteboard with all these ideas and threads and, like, very conspiracy level, wearing tinfoil hats with Mickey Mouse ears, and then they're just doing like all the doodles and crazy scribbles.
You can't say Mickey Mouse, just never gonna get stuck.
I know. Sorry. Generic mouse ears.
Yes.
Generic rounded mouse ears. So yeah, like there's just some crazy guy in a padded room just writing on the walls. It's like, and then Ant-Man,
like, oh, nice.
Then Ant-Man goes into the quantum realm and he fights Kang, and they're like, yes, he's done it again. This genius Marvel man.
Well, and we know we're getting Kang in Ant-Man, right?
Yes. Yeah.
What about is he going to be in Doctor Strange as well? Have they said anything about that or no?
Well, here's the thing. No. As far as we know, Kang is only set to appear in Ant-Man and the Wasp 3 Quantum Mania. But then again, we didn't know he was going to be in Loki. So, who knows?
True. That's true. I just didn't know. Well, like I said, I know he's... Well, and somebody was saying, too, maybe it was you. Were we talking about this? That they're going to have, like, several different Kangs? Like, there might be Kangs that are, like, played by different actors and shit?
So, I don't think that... yes and no. I don't think there will be different actors. I would love it. Jonathan Majors is an incredible actor. I would love to see him pop up, cameo, little bits in different properties as different variants of Kang.
Okay.
Before getting to like the ultimate bad guy. And maybe like, he's in the background, or maybe he's getting, some other Kang kills him, or I don't know, whatever. They could do it. He becomes like the Stan Lee cameo in every movie. Like you just try to spot, Kang somewhere in the background. But yeah, no, it's not confirmed or anything like that. I just think it would be awesome, and then build to an appearance like that. And yes, Jim is spot on. He says Stan Lee's wife is the reason that Marvel is what it is today. That is a true factual statement. Because everybody gives credit to Stan Lee. But Stan Lee was ready to quit comics. He was done. He was over it. He had been working on Captain America and some other things that were not as popular. He was ready to toss in the towel. He's like, they're telling me what I can do and what I can't do. And so his wife said, look, if you're going to quit, why not take one last shot? Create something that you want to do for you. Like, do it the way you want to do it, how you want to do it. Tell the story you want to tell. And then if they hate it, you're done, and otherwise we'll see what happens. And so that is how the first issue of the Fantastic Four was born. And in fact, if I hide Raiders can't. Right, you know what? Let's see. If I go to main and hide your camera, you can't really see it. It's above the shield, but I have a giant framed version of the first Fantastic Four edition. It's actually signed by Stan Lee. But it's the first issue, and and I got it because of that very reason. To think that, like, before you quit something, right? Like, have you given it your all? Have you just put everything out there and just let it hang? And that's what he did. And then obviously that blew up, and then that led to Spider-Man, and then that led to X-Men, and that led to Avengers, and like all these, and then the Marvel universe as we know it today. Back then it wasn't even Marvel Comics. It was Timely Comics was what it was called. And so, the Marvel way was born. But great point, Jim, man. God bless you. I love it when people know their history. That's a great thing. All right, guys. We are almost at the top of the hour. I'm going to toss us to a small break. And when we come back, we have the amazing Dominic Burgess going to be joining us. It's going to be a fun conversation. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this one. So stick around, please, if you will, and be as active as you were in the comments tonight. You guys are awesome, as always. You're always awesome. And let's show them lots of love. Bring your questions. If you got questions about acting or anything in that realm, directing. He did a small directing bit. He's a writer. He's an actor. He's a director. Bring your questions. And we're going to hit them up after the break. We'll see you in a bit, guys. Shots.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio. listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody, to Pop Culture Warrior. Oh, goodness, I'm so excited. Oh, this is going to be so much fun, so much fun. Alrighty. My guest tonight is an English-born actor. He is known for his appearances in several of our most favorite television shows. Doctor Who, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Two Broke Girls, The Good Place, The Magicians, The Flash, Supernatural, American Horror Story, Modern Family, Star Trek, Picard, so many more. You can currently check him out on the Peacock Miniseries Dr. Death, based on the podcast of the same name, focusing on a neurosurgeon who became infamous for permanently mutilating his patients, killing 2 of them. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a grand old pop culture welcome to our guest for the evening, Mr. Dominic Burgess. Yay!
Right.
One of these days,
Thank
I'm
you
gonna
so much for having me.
do sound effects one day, like ah. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sporting a mustache
Yeah.
right now. I just had an audition that would have benefited from a mustache, so I got rid of the beard and thought, stash it up and we'll see what happens.
You look great, man. You look fantastic. How's the pandemic been treating you?
It hasn't. I mean, I don't want to say it hasn't been too bad. I've sort of been locked down, but I've been really fortunate. We filmed Dr. Death over winter for 6 months, and then I was just filming in Puerto Rico for a couple of weeks, and then I went down to Colombia to film for a little bit. I'm recording an audiobook, so I've been able to keep busy, which has been really nice. And then I've got my film collection right here, and I got my cats at home, so I've been okay. I'm pretty I get anxious in crowded spaces at the best of times. I'm the kind of person that if we go and watch a show, that I will let 6,000 people get up and walk out before I get up and walk out, because I don't want to be like crammed in small spaces with people. I'm 6'5" and 300 pounds, and I'm a big guy, but closed spaces are not my jam.
Yeah, well, you're in good company here. A lot of us and vets and we don't like crowds much anymore either. So you're in good company. We understand. So the first question I always like to ask: what is your military connection? How are you connected to the military?
I personally have not direct contact with the military. My grandfather, who I never met, fought in World War II. He was in the 1st Battalion Lancashire Division that went through Northwest Europe. So he saw a lot of combat, and I recently wrote a World War II feature film that's in pre-production, and I'm hoping to film later this year or next year in Mississippi. And while I was writing it, I was researching my grandfather, who I had never met. And yeah, he went all through Europe. I found slips where he had caused a ruckus in the canteen, and he'd been disciplined. But he made it through the war campaign and went back home to England, and then he was killed in a mine accident. He was a miner, and he got killed. He got crushed by a mine car in 1948. So my dad never even knew his dad either, even though he made it all through the war, and then died in a mining accident. So yeah, that's really my only connection. I went to elementary school. A good friend of mine, Levison Wood, who's now an explorer, and he's written multiple books about walking the Nile, and goes on a lot of travel and adventures. He was in the army for a while, and I keep in touch with him. And then I guess in high school, the high school that I went to, we had combined cadet force, so I was in the Navy cadets for 2 years. So it was fun, that's my military experience.
Oh, right on, man. No, that's awesome. I to have that kind of history, and I know you didn't have a deep, meaningful connection with the guy, but to know, like, I don't know how does that feel to know like that blood is coursing, a portion of it is coursing through your veins, like that's some heavy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, God, I would have, because I love history, and I've done a lot of research in the writing of this film, and um, I unfortunately never really got a chance to know any of my grandparents, so I feel like there's a big chunk of history missing there, and especially because my dad never knew him either.
Mm.
I never had, secondhand stories that my dad has passed down to me about when his dad was in the war and what he saw on the front. And um, so it does feel like it's a lost piece of history, which was why I was so excited to sort of do the research and find the records and find photographs and sort of piece together as much as I could and try and piece where exactly he was going throughout Europe in each stage of the war. Um, but yeah, it's hard. It's really hard to track down all of those old records.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine. I sometimes think, fast forward when someone is in our, in your shoes and they're looking back at your life. It's like, well, let's see. I can go through the archives of Instagram and Twitter, and like I can
Uh-huh.
track what they ate that day, and like, all these different things. And I was like, too much information probably. But I wonder,
Yeah.
is it going to be the opposite problem that there'll be so much information to go through that you can't find the nuggets that you're looking for? Maybe
Oh
that's
gosh. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe it'll be that you can find a lot of mundane information about what they had for breakfast
right.
and lunch, but you can't find the crux of who the person was. I don't even know, because my grandmother, again, who she passed away when I was maybe 5, 6, so I don't really remember her too well. And she, I don't think, kept a lot of information, not a lot of photographs. I think she threw letters away. I think, she lived very sparsely. Um, so when she passed away, it was really like all that history from that side of the family sort of vanished.
Yeah, a whole arm of the family tree just kind of falls off and it's
Yeah.
gone. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, guys in the audience, we have Dominic here. If you have any questions, obviously about writing, acting, him, anything you want to ask, feel free to put it in the chats, and if appropriate, I'll ask. The next thing I have, so obviously you're originally from, and I'm gonna try to say this correctly, Staffordshire, England.
Huh? Stoke-on-Trent. Yep.
Mm, that's
We call it the potteries because back in the olden days, Stoke-on-Trent used to be the main manufacturer for plates and china, and um, yeah, if you have plates and dishes from the 1940s, 50s, 60s, probably came from Stoke-on-Trent.
someone in the family was out there doing the work on that.
Uh-huh.
So I read that you were in school productions of Death of a Salesman, Twelfth Night, among others. I'm curious, did that ignite the passion for acting, or was it already there and that's why you got into those productions?
Um, Yeah, I mean, you'll love this looking at your background. I mean, I was raised on Star Trek and X-Files and Buffy and Twin Peaks and all this American programming. When I was growing up, I hardly watched any British television at all. Everything I was watching was American programming. Um, so there was a point when I was going through high school that I was interested in studying veterinary medicine. And then I started doing the school plays, and the first show we did cabaret, and I was just in the background. I was like, sure, this is fun. Um, and then it wasn't until we did Death of a Salesman that I was like,
Mm.
oh, this is fulfilling. This is not. It doesn't feel like a hobby. This was deeply fulfilling for me. And then the more I did, the more distant the veterinary science route became, and then I went down to London, and I just out of curiosity was like, you know what, I'm gonna audition for drama school, and I'm gonna see what happens. And then I got offered a scholarship at the Academy of Live and Recorded Arts, and I was like, well, I guess this is what I'm doing. And I studied in London for 3 years, and then pretty much as soon as I graduated, because like I said, I was interested in all that American programming, and just as I was finishing drama school, Lost was big, 24 was big, all this American programming that I was still like, oh, these are the things that I want to do. So yeah, I started that visa process and planned my trip to Los Angeles.
Yeah, I gotta give you credit too, because I have seen you in a lot of stuff. I've seen you in a lot of stuff, and it's one of those things, you've been a guest star and an appearance, and kind of play these parts. And as I was going back and watching kind of individually, like each role and putting them next to each other, I realized you are really good at accents.
Oh, thank you.
I've always been fascinated by that, because you have, Daniel Radcliffe and all these the Australian actors and all these people that when they speak of their normal tongue, well, it's obvious they're not American, but they do an American accent so well, and usually other accents so well. I'm curious, do you think it's because, like you said, growing up it was so prevalent, that American television, versus where someone like me, maybe outside of Doctor Who, I can't think of a show that was filmed somewhere else that is from abroad, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. I think because I was watching those shows from such a young age. I mean, even before those shows, I would be watching Land of the Giants and Lost in Space and all those old sci-fi shows when I was like 7, 8, 9 growing up, and then into my teen years, Star Trek and X-Files and Buffy and Twin Peaks. So I was just constantly exposed to the American accent. And then going through drama school, every week, twice a week for 3 years, we would have accent and dialect classes. And then so you would learn the phonetic alphabet, which is sort of the alphabet for sound. So like the regular alphabet has 26 letters, and then the phonetic alphabet, I think, has 48 symbols, because there's different sounds for A's and vowels. And I love that stuff. I love accents and dialects generally. But yeah, I've done Australian for The Good Place, American for a whole bunch of things, Slovakian for Santa Clarita Diet, Scottish, Irish. I've run the whole gambit of stuff, which is a real treat for me as an actor to do.
I mean, yeah, I really, really just kudos, because it's really good. Because I always as a person that watches and enjoys a lot of TV and movies, you can kind of sometimes pick out when someone's really pushing the accent, right? They're really like, oh, I can tell that's not how you really speak, but you do them so well that every time I would see you, I go, oh, I wonder if is he Scottish? is he Australian? So yeah, very good on that. So kind of going back to what you were saying, that you immediately started the process and you got in there. Your first TV credit is Doctor Who in 2005. As we said, as coming from someone who, admittedly, you watch this stuff religiously almost coming up, what was that like going, okay, now I know I like to do this, and I know I love this, and then you're kind of putting both those together right out the gate? I mean, what is that for you?
Oh my gosh. I mean, Sylvester McCoy was my doctor growing up in the 80s. The Doctor and Ace, that was my doctor and companion pair. So yeah, just to be able to jump onto something like that was such. I mean, I've been so fortunate with the stuff that I've got to do, because I was a big Sunny in Philadelphia fan. Like I said, I'm a big Star Trek fan, so to get to do Picard. And my very first credit, just before Doctor Who, was Batman Begins. And I never made the final cut. My name is still in the credits. As he weeps. but you know, like I came out of drama school and was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing Batman. Oh my gosh, I'm doing Doctor Who. And you know, they're tiny, tiny parts, but still, just to be a part of that world and that something, something in that universe and world is such a treat for me because I'm a geek. I'm a real geek.
You're in good company here. I mean, yeah, the idea that, like you said, maybe it gets cut, but the fact that, I mean, you exist in that universe, you the person, like I can't wrap my head around. I don't care if Marvel's like, hey man, do you want to be a guy so far in the background that you kind of look like a bush? Yes,
Oh man,
I'm in.
I called my manager when they did the announcement and Patrick Stewart came out and it was like, Picard is back. Um, I kid you not, within an hour, I was on the phone to my manager and I was like, I will be a sliding door. I will be a computer console. I will be anything on that show. And fortunately, I knew the casting director, Liz Dean, already through the office that she worked at. I'd done a couple of shows through there before. And I've never done this before and I've never done it since, but I wrote a handwritten letter and a card, and I was like, every day when I finished high school, I would race home and sit down and I would do my homework in front of Star Trek The Next Generation. And then when Voyager came on, I would watch it week by week. And it was such a big part of my growing up. And I will do anything on the show. And yeah, they called me in for this role. And you might understand, your viewers might understand, I was spinning out because it just the material was so top secret that it just said, you know, Mr. Vup, he's an alien species. And I was just walking around the living room going, yeah, but it's going to be different. If he's a Klingon, it's going to be very different than if he's a Ferengi, and it's going to be very different than if he's a Cardassian. It's going to be very different if he's a Bajoran, and I don't know what alien species he is.
Mm.
And it wasn't until I physically got in the room that were like, it's a new species. You're like a big lizard. Um, yeah, but I mean, yeah, what a treat! What a treat to be able to work on that show.
I can't imagine. And yeah, that, like you said, that's not something that's typically recommended because it's not going to get you a lot of jobs. But the fact that, hey, it worked. The exception,
Yeah,
not
you
the
know,
rule.
I got my manager on the case, and I had a relationship with Liz Dean already, the casting director, and I knew that office. They'd hired me for a show called Feud, and they'd hired me on The Rookie. So they knew me in that office, and I think, you know, it was it felt like such a once in a lifetime opportunity because there was no Star Trek being filmed in LA
Sure.
since I've arrived, and I was like, oh my gosh, Star Trek is back and it's filming in LA, and this is my chance. This is what I've dreamed of. And yeah, what a treat.
That, I mean, it's a story to warm the heart. It really is. So okay, so going back, because I really I want to paint a picture here for the viewers. So it's late 2007, January 2008. You arrive in Los Angeles, and you've got a suitcase, you got a laptop,
Hmm.
and there's a writer's strike going on.
That's it. Yeah, you've done your research.
I mean, that's kind of what I do. And then yeah, I mean, take it from there. What do you do at that point? You've arrived, and now
Yeah,
what?
I was so wide-eyed and naive and bushy-tailed, and I honestly had no idea what I was doing, but I knew that I wanted to do it, and I arrived and had nowhere to stay. It was me, my suitcase, my laptop. I stayed in a hotel on Ventura Boulevard called the Sportsman's Lodge, and stumbled upon a website called Craigslist and went to look at some apartments. Went to look at some apartments that, you know, oh boy. And you know, I landed on my feet and I found a place and I got a day job right away. But yeah, like you said, it was the writers' strike. The WGA was striking, and so no television was being made at all. And so it felt like I had come at precisely the wrong time. But it ended up working in my favor because casting directors had nothing to do other than hold general meetings and meet actors because they weren't casting anything. And so a lot of them were teaching classes that they wouldn't normally do and bringing people into their offices that they wouldn't normally do. And so I felt like I met more casting directors in 3 weeks of being in LA than I had done in 3 years of working in London.
Wow.
London was not my city to work in. I found it really, really hard. And then I got to LA and I was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be like. Like the casting directors are accessible and here we go. And yeah, but there were other things that I just assumed that having the visa, I would be able to work on any production, and that wasn't the case. And then I thought being British equity, the actors in the Actors Union in the UK would mean that I could do SAG productions, and that wasn't the case. So it's lots of hurdles and whatnot. But here we are. Here we are, 15 years later.
Yeah, I think you've done. I think you've done very well for yourself. I mean, if you could go back and maybe just give one piece of advice to your younger self that could maybe speed things up a bit, grease the wheels a bit, what's that advice?
It's hard because it's kind of a catch-22. I would go back and tell myself to start the visa process before I started drama school. But it's kind of hard because in order to get the visa to come to work in America, you have to have credits and you have to have worked on British productions. And so I wouldn't have had the Doctor Who credit or the Batman Begins credit and all the other stuff that probably would have gotten me the visa to be able to come and work. I think I probably would have gone back and told myself not to worry as much in auditions. When you first start out as an actor, I feel like you put this pressure on yourself that everything has to be perfect and your auditions have to be word perfect, and you go into the audition rooms and you're second guessing and thinking, what do you want to see? I'll show you anything you want to see. I can do it again. Do you want me to do it again? I can do it just exactly how you want it. What do you want? And now I'm much more comfortable and in a place of looking at a script and saying, okay, this is what I want to do with it. And if they don't like what I want to do with it, then it's not the job for me. But if they like what I want to do with it, we're going to have a great time. So yeah, I think I've let a lot of that stuff go now. And there are exceptions to the rule because I was going crazy over that Star Trek audition because I wanted it so much. And I feel like the more you want something, the more you put that pressure on yourself.
Sure.
I'm sure if I get an audition for Lord of the Rings, I'll do the same thing of like, oh my God, I want it so much. I need it. But it is what it is.
Right. No, yeah, absolutely. Oh God, I couldn't agree with you anymore. So obviously we've established. I mean, would you call yourself a Trekkie at this point? Or is it that far in?
Oh yeah. I mean, I have the DVDs and the Blu-rays, and I'm up to date with Lower Decks and Picard and Discovery. And when I was a kid, I used to get the model kits. I had the Voyager kit and the Enterprise kit, and then for a while, I got really, really intricate, and I would get the fiber optic light cables, and I would drill little holes in each of the windows, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And oh man, I remember I had the Enterprise kit, and it wouldn't stay together, so I had to seal the battery inside, and then a wire must have come loose to sort of the battery pack that I had outside, and it lit up so beautifully for 2 weeks, and then when it died, and I put and then it died, and it's been dark ever since. It's still in a closet somewhere back home at my parents'.
I can see it still affects you. I can see it.
It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful, and then yeah, I wasn't very good with wiring and soldering as a 15-year-old, I guess. Yeah.
The storyteller in me really wanted the conclusion of that to be, it was so beautiful, and then one day just woof, the wire just it burned beautifully, like it just took off and just flew away.
Yeah.
So okay, so I mean, you've established your geek cred, you've established your nerd
Mhm.
cred, your Trekkie. Do you ever do conventions? Do you ever go to any of those?
I haven't yet. I would love to. Not to keep hopping on Picard. I did Picard, and Jonathan Frakes, who was number one on the show, Will Riker on the show, directed this episode of Picard, and he was like, "That's it. Now you can go to all the conventions. You're going to go to Berlin. You're going to go to Las Vegas. You're going to do all this stuff." And then COVID hit,
Mm,
pretty much Picard ad, and then it was like, "It's COVID." Um, but I did get to do like I signed like trading cards for the
mhm.
first time, which was kind of a lot of fun. And I'd love to go to a convention. I've only ever been to one fan convention in my life as a guest, which was in Burbank nearby, which was a Transformers convention, because I'm a G1 1980s Transformers kid and I collect those figures. But like I said, I get anxious in crowded spaces. I get really, really anxious. I get anxious in I'm fine with friends, in
Sure.
backyards and people that I know. Um, but if it's a bar or if it's a club or if it's an event where there's so many people, I sort of get a little overwhelmed and I kind of shut down a little bit. Yeah, I'm not good in
Yeah.
or the underground. That when I was in London, using the underground, and it's so confined, and there's people in such close quarters, and New York is kind of I love New York, but it's kind of hectic and manic for me. I kind of like space and quiet a little bit.
Oh, I understand. Born and raised in New York City, totally get it. I go back every once in a while now, and I'm just like, nope, can't, nope, nope, nope,
Uh,
can't be here. Too many.
Each time I went back to London, I felt the same thing because I grew up about 150 miles outside London, and so there's green rolling hills and cattle and sheep and farms and all this green open space. And I studied in London for 3 years, and it was fine while I was at drama school because you're sort of in a bubble of just being in drama school and with the same 30 people for 3 years while you're studying. And then when you graduate and you get a day job and you're traveling on the tube every day on the Northern Line for in rush hour at 8 in the morning and 5 o'clock at night, it just wasn't for me. And I know that LA is busy and congested, um, but it feels like everything is spread out and people have their own space and their own cars and their own little bubbles. Um, and the area that I live in, I chose to live in an area that's very walkable and there's a park and everything I need in a sort of 15-minute walk that's spacey.
Yeah, no. And you have a couple people in the chats here, Jim and Kaz, who are basically alluding to like, we understand, we feel the same about, the social anxiety. And it's funny, PTSD is somebody, social anxiety and things like that. It's such a strange thing because, yes, 100%, I cannot do crowds. I can't do it, can't do it. But for some reason, I can go to a convention and feel so at peace and
Uh-huh.
so at I don't know if it's the idea of like like, these are my people. Like I am one of the herd here, and it's like I don't know, it's like strength in numbers or something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, the Transformers convention I went to, I mean, it wasn't big. It was at the Burbank Convention Center at the Marriott Hotel downstairs. Um, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more because I think, the artists from the IDW
Mhm.
comics were there, and I got to meet my favorite artists and writers and colorists, and that was a lot of fun. And then I went really early in the morning as they opened up the sort of trading floor, so there was sort of space to walk around. And then as that started to get busy, I went into sort of the hall where they were showing videos and doing Q&As, and so I sort of timed it out well. I would love to go to San Diego Comic Con, and I would love to go to the Star Trek convention in Las Vegas. But I think I would enjoy it more if I was able to go as a guest,
Right.
um, to be able to. I don't know.
You have that space because you get the green room, you're behind the table, so there's a little bit of a buffer. I get that.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't. I love talking to people, that love the shows and fans. Um, I just have panic attacks
Sure.
in those
Oh yeah.
spaces. I would.
Preaching
Part
to the
of me
choir.
really wants to go and sort of dip my toe in and see how I do. Um, and I might try it. I might try it one year. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I might end up going at 9 in the morning and being like 10 o'clock. Be like, all right, let's go back to the hotel.
It was a good run. You had a good run.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, considering again, you've been in the Flash. You Kilgore in the Flash, and you've been a part of Supernatural and Agents of Shield, and like this is why you're the perfect guest for a show like this because it's like you check all the boxes. It's like at this point, what show, what pop culture kind of superhero themed, sci-fi themed thing have you not been in? Like, have you
Oh my gosh.
anything you can think of you want to check
Thank
off?
you. There's still so much stuff. There's still I've got my eyes on so much stuff. Lord of the Rings,
Of course. Well,
which is going back to the UK to
Sure.
film, I think, the second and third season. So I've already put that call into my manager that's like, hey, Lord of the Rings is going back to the UK. Guess who can work in England? Alien.
Yeah.
FX Hulu is doing a new Alien series. And that is on my hit list. Anything to do in the Marvel universe, I know I've done Agents of Shield. But
They can squeeze you in.
I would love to, just in a joking way, send my agents an email. It was like, if they're looking for Hank McCoy or a Beast or Ben Grimm, I've got my prosthetic experience and my motion capture experience. I'll do it.
Yeah. Because for those that don't know, in Star Trek, like it was like 6 hours of prosthetic work a day to get in there, right?
No, but Star Trek was really fast. They were so fast on Star Trek because it was sort of a foam cowl and a latex piece that came on the face. So the Star Trek makeup was about an hour and a half, and then the hands were sort of gloves, and then I was in a suit. So that was super fast. The Magicians, is the one that is 6 hours.
That's the one I'm thinking with the horns and the
That's like gluing my hair down and then gluing a helmet on and then latex pieces and individual ears and the beard and then getting into sort of the hooves and the furry legs and gluing all of that in and the fingernails and then making dirt. That's like a 5.5, 6 hour process. And then you film for 16, 17, 18 hours and then it's a 2 hour process to get out of it. So it can be like 20, 22 hour days. But it's acting. And so it still feels like play. And I know that there are people doing much more serious things in the world. And so, I'm grateful and I love that process, special effects and gore and all that stuff.
Sure. I mean, you're living, what's the mantra? It's like, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So if you're living that, then you're succeeding where so many people can't. Just out of curiosity, because I remember watching you in The Magicians, and just the character was just so ridiculous. And how do you like, you would say these things where I'm like, I don't know how he said that with a straight face. Basically I took a dump in the eternal spring of life, and it's like, how do you do that?
It's kind of fun. It's kind of liberating when you're in that prosthesis, and you're under all that latex, and you have to perform through all that. It's kind of liberating in a way because you do get to be a little bit bigger, and then it is more theatrical and doing stage training in London. I think it sort of lends itself to that, and then with the sort of heightened language. I think it all sort of coalesces together to create something that's larger than life and fun. And he's a god; he can do whatever he wants.
I mean, there's got to be something so freeing about that experience of just, like, to be above everyone else, right? And like, I don't care. I can do it however I want.
And
So
same for Star
carefree.
Trek, like because it's all through latex, and then you've got the false teeth, and then coming up with a voice for it, and yeah, it's all it's really it's play. It's really play. It's um you know I take my job seriously to an extent of being on set and learning my lines and being prepared, but I'm so aware that there are people doing much more serious jobs, and I'm really so lucky to just be able to get to play and entertain and tell stories.
Yeah, I envy that freedom, and obviously, oh man, somebody had told me once. I was talking with an actor, and he said, we don't get paid for the job that we do. We get paid for like all the auditioning and all the trying to get the
Uh,
next job. Um,
yeah.
and when I heard that, I was just like, wow, that that's. I mean, is that? I mean, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, it's especially as a guest star actor, who I jump from show to show to show to show to show, and then, there are these pops that come along like Dr. Death, which is like, oh, I'm doing something for 6 months. And then it's like a shock to the system because you're so used to foraging like a squirrel that, like, oh, I'm not sure where my next job is coming from, and I'm going to audition, and great, I'm gonna take that job, and then getting a job like Dr. Death that is 6 months. For the first 2 months, I felt like I was doing something wrong because I was like, I feel like I should be doing something. I should be looking for the next job, and I like um, and then I sort of settled into it, and then the last month of Doctor Death, as I knew it was coming to an end, it was like, well, got to start looking for a job, got to start looking for a job, got to start auditioning, got to get on the horse and got to start going again. Um, and it's I don't know, it's like a I feel like sometimes actors are never satisfied, and I'm guilty of this too. That you're on a show for 6 months, and then you're like, oh, I want to be doing something, want to be doing something new, and then the show finishes, and you're like, oh no, I just want job security, and I want to be on something for 6 months. Um, and but I'm so fortunate to be able to jump and do different accents and voices and characters, and I haven't been typecast, and
Yeah.
I'm very, very fortunate.
Yeah, speaking, I mean, yeah, I can't say you've been pigeonholed in any one category because, I mean, you've done comedy, you've done drama, you've done horror, suspense, and sci-fi and supernatural. Like, at this point, I've seen you in just about everything. I've seen you on a hospital gurney, and you're in 1,000 Ways to Die. You got to play a character in 1,000 Ways to
Oh
Die.
man, that's a deep dive.
I
That
mean,
was, I
it's
think, one of my first non-union jobs in Los Angeles.
like how awesome is that? I mean, obviously, I'm sure the dream of any actor, right, is you want that Friends money where I'm getting paid $1 million an episode and guaranteed 10 years, seasons, whatever. But the
Uh,
idea that an actor, I mean, again, the mundane nobody, I'm the guy that knows nothing about anything, but the idea that as an actor the love is the craft and the love is making the character and exploring the voice and exploring the thought process and all these things. And I love the idea of like getting to play someone new this week and then next week and then the next month. And um
mhm.
so I'm curious, and I know you said you kind of want it both ways, which is, you can't have it both ways, but because I know with movie productions, they're typically longer and slower pace versus a TV show, which is much quicker. They're like, you're pumping out episodes as fast as you can. Do you would you rather see yourself as purely a film actor? Would you like to have that long sitcom, 10 season run on something?
Gosh, I think there are pros and cons to either. I mean, yeah, I mean, of course, if Marvel called and was like, "Hey, you want to go to Atlanta and shoot a Marvel film for 8 months?" Yeah, of course I do. Um, cool, cool. Um, but also, I love being able to go from show to show and come up with a new physicality and a new voice and explore a new person and meet new people work with new directors and meet other actors and sit in Video Village and watch and listen and learn and come away with a different skill set from each of these jobs. And yeah, I've never done. I did like a 15 episode run on a Disney show and Farm, and then Feud was like a limited series, and Dr. Death was a limited series. But I've not had the opportunity yet to, do a long deep dive and be a character for 10 months and then have a hiatus and then another 10 months and a hiatus
Right.
and so that's something I would love to do. But I love work. I'm happiest when I'm working and when I have something to do. And yeah, like I have, and knock on wood, I know I'm very, very fortunate. I have 5 jobs that are lined up,
Sure.
waiting to work on, and the dates are all shifting, and they'll work around each other, and we'll figure it out. But I'm well aware that it's like, oh, it's 2 days in Mississippi, and then it's going to be a day in this recording studio here, and then it's going to be 4 days recording this audio book there, and then I'm going to be doing this video game for a week down there doing motion capture, and it's sort of piecing it all together. But yeah, again, you want to, actors are so greedy, and we want everything, and I would, sure, I'll do a series. Yeah, but I'm very fortunate, and I'm very lucky.
Yeah. So and on top of all the acting and the writing, I sat down and I watched your directorial debut.
Ah!
Sam Did It with Alfred Molina, and I've gotta say, I enjoyed it so much. I really
Good.
did. And I don't say this because you're my guest in the show. I really, because I would have skipped it if I didn't like it. I wouldn't have even brought it up. But I did. And it won a ton of awards. I mean, it won a ton of awards. And so I sat down and I'm like, okay, I didn't know anything about it. I just kind of watched it, and I mean, that was something. How did that even come to be? So real quick for the audience, look for it. Sam Did It. It's a short film. A mortician. He pulls the sheet back. Oh my God, it's Alfred Molina on my slab, and then it's all the emotions and the things that he goes through because he's a big fan. So how did that all come about?
Well, I feel like I went into acting, but I've always been interested in, the storytelling and telling stories, and writing, and wanting to direct. And, ultimately I'd love a career like someone like Joel Edgerton, who is able to write and produce and direct and star in his own things, or the guys who do Sunny in Philadelphia, or the girls who do Broad City, and Michaela Cole, and I Will Destroy You. All these actors that are creating their own content too. So I did Sam Did It as a vehicle for myself, and I was working with Alfred at the time on a show called Feud. And I very sheepishly approached him and was like, hey, let me do this short film, and I don't know, you don't have that, don't even listen to it, don't worry about it. And he graciously said that, yeah, he would like to do it. And then from that, I've been able to spring onto Ryan Murphy's director mentorship program. So I've been shadowing the directors on 911. And then I have a few feature films that I've written. One of them is the World War II film that won a couple of awards and competitions, and placed in the Academy Nickel Fellowship. And now we're in pre-production to shoot that, hopefully in Mississippi, hopefully later this year or early next year. And that's with Tate Taylor and John Norris producing, and Tate directed The Help and Get On Up and Ma. So yeah, they're on board to help piece this World War II film together. That's where we're at with directing. Again, I feel like I go in wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, and like, yeah, let's make this thing and figure it out as we go along. And you find those enthusiastic people and figure it out.
You remind me of the guy that like walks into Vegas, and he's like, well, I don't know how to play any of these games, but let's find. And and you
let's
just
find
do
out,
well, you know.
I think there's so much fear, especially in the acting community or the artistic community, where, and I've been a victim of this myself. This that I was saying earlier on. You go into the audition room and you come at it from a place of desperation of being like, please hire me, tell me what you want, and I'll redirect me, and I'll do whatever you want. I'm just here to please you. Um, and I feel like as you grow older as an actor, I've come to a place of letting go of perfection. And you know what? If I go into a room and I make the wrong choice and I fall flat on my face, it's okay because I tried. And if I'm this weekend, I'm recording my very first audiobook, and I'm terrified, but also I'm like, well, if I don't do it, I'm never gonna know. And I can come out the other end and I can say, hey, I did an audiobook. You know what? It's not for me. It's beyond my skill set, but I did it and I tried it. And if it's great, then maybe I'll do another one. And if it's not, then I know, but I've tried it. And I'm trying to come at things from less of a place of fear of what if it goes wrong, and trying to look at things more of like, oh, but if it goes right, then we can do this thing and this thing. And I don't know.
No,
What a tangent.
No. I mean, it's a great point. I want people to hear that. More people need to hear that. Don't let fear stop you from trying. I love the cliche sayings of like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? And I've learned, or I think it was Michael Jordan that said, I've learned more from my losses than my wins. And so I take that to heart, and I think it's such a good message.
This short film, it went on and it did wonderful things, but I think 2012, I shot a whole bunch of sketches. I rented out a film studio for 2 days in Woodland Hills, and I put my own money behind it and got a cast and a crew, and we shot all these sketches. And oh boy, CQ, it was awful. It was terrible. I got this sound guy and his wedding band is tapping on the boom pole the entire time. And I didn't know, this was 2012, and I'd never directed something before, and I wasn't aware of the 180 rule that you have to be on the same plane when you're recording so that the eye lines match when you reverse shots, and things didn't match, and the sound was off, and the audio was off, and it was a big mess. But oh man, I learned so much. Looking at that and going, did that wrong, did that wrong, did that wrong. And then the next time I went and did something, I was like, not gonna make that mistake again, because I know how that turns out. So yeah, you learn as you go, and you keep growing. And
okay, that's what life's all about. Scott in the comments, I think he says, I don't know if he was rushing when he typed it, but I'm thinking he's saying if Pop Culture Warrior was going to be a movie, then I guess Dominic would play me. So
boy,
there you go. You could play me in the movie about this show.
Then I have to. I'll grow out my goatee a little more.
Yeah,
I'll have to work on my East Coast accent.
Yes, it's the New Yorker. I say things like coffee and water.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm hitting a little too hard.
Water.
But I'll have to work on it. I'll have to refine it a little bit.
I'd be honored. Oh my God, I'd be honored.
Jawline going on. I don't have your jawline.
Oh my God. Stop it. Let's see what else. Some more questions. Oh my God, I saw again, not a stalker, researcher. I saw you did this tweet the other day, and I just got to call it out because it was so good. It basically about the whole idea of starting a movie in some mini cliffhanger, and then doing the 1 week earlier flashback. It drives me nuts every single time I see it. Why is it why does it feels like every other movie you go to?
Sometimes it works. If you're going into something like a Christopher Nolan movie and you know that it's going to be playing with time and it's going to be Inception and it's dreams within a dreams, or it's Memento and things are moving backwards, or it's those I can handle that feed into the story
Sure.
and the narrative. I think where I become frustrated is, there are so many films, and I think what it is, CQ, and I could be wrong, and I'm not admonishing any director in particular, but I think with streaming, with things that are on Netflix or Amazon or HBO that are designed to be watched at home, I think what these films are trying to do is catch the audience's attention for those first 10 minutes and say, hey, this is going to be a really exciting film, stay with it. And they show you the most exciting part, and then they skip back, and then you work back up to the climax. And it's just, it feels a little cynical to me personally as a viewer, because then, if I was watching Alien and the first thing I'm seeing on screen is Sigourney Weaver battling the alien queen, and then we go 3 weeks earlier, then I'm like, well, now I know that Sigourney Weaver's never in any peril throughout the entire film, because I know she ends up fighting the alien queen, and now, like, you've lost my emotional investment, because I'm not on the edge of my seat anymore, because I know what's going to happen. So I think as a storytelling technique for me, it takes me out of the story, because it lowers the stakes, because I don't want to use any real world examples because I don't want to call anyone out. But like, if I don't want to see the climax, because then I know that whatever happens for the next 2 hours is inconsequential, because that character's never in danger, or the people that we see in that climax are never in any real peril. And it's a problem that I have with prequels as well, that I don't need to see what's come before with those characters and see those characters in peril, because it doesn't matter if they're in a car chase, because I know the outcome of the car chase, because they're in another set of films that come after this, and so I'm emotionally checked out.
Right. No, it's true. I think you're spot on. When it plays into the device of the movie, I think a perfect example is something like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where we don't know where we are in the story, and that's the point. We're lost in the story. But
or Inception, like, I'm totally fine with it in Inception. The storylines that play with time and such, I'm totally cool with it.
I just watched Suicide Squad. I love the film, but we open on the beach, and then everyone's dying and all this, and then it's immediately 3 days earlier. Like, why didn't we just start 3 days earlier then?
Yeah, like I'll take that as an example. Yes, and it's a great directed sequence, and it's awesome. But then we skip 3 days beforehand, and then when Idris Elba draws his knife to her throat, there's no stakes, because it's like, well, no, I've seen her 3 days later, and I know that she's fine. So you don't need to show me you holding a knife to her throat. Right. But I loved it. It's a great, well-directed film, and
absolutely.
But just those, and even I'm gonna preface this by saying it's technically one of my favorite directed films, and from a technical standpoint, it's perfection. I love Titanic. Titanic is a great, well-crafted film, but using the device of old Rose to tell the story, it emotionally gives me a disconnect, because then I know that Rose is going to survive the story of Titanic.
Right. Rose is never in any danger at all.
Yeah, it distances myself from it, where if I'd have just watched the sequences that were in the past, then I would have been like, oh, what's going to happen? Oh my gosh, something's going to happen to one of them. But it sort of tips the hand of the filmmaker into, like, well, I guess Jack's going to die.
Exactly.
Spoilers for that 18-year-old film.
Wait, what? He dies?
But I love it. It's one of my favorite films. I have the Blu-ray. I'm not dissing Titanic.
All right, we're gonna start burning bridges. So okay, you don't want to work with who else don't you want to work with?
No. it's just, and it's a personal thing. You know, there are going to be other people that love that form of storytelling. I mean, like, oh man, I want to see how we get there, but it's just not. It's
Yeah,
definitely not.
I can't wait to sit in the theater one day and like, I just wish I had known this car chase was coming 10 minutes ago. Like, oh, if only I knew to prepare. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, don't worry.
I guess trailers keep the hand so much now too, but
Yeah, that's a whole other beef I have with the trailers.
that's another thing.
That's a
We won't go
whole other beef I have when I know the entire plot of the story a year before it comes out. Like, oh god.
Me too. Did you see Hereditary?
Yes. Yes.
I loved the marketing campaign for Hereditary because I thought it was going to be centered around this little girl that did the tongue clicks, and I was like, oh, this little girl's going to be creepy. And then when she's out of the film in 15 minutes, I was like, oh, oh shit, anything can happen. And I love that feeling.
Yeah.
I love that feeling of the rug being pulled and being like, oh boy, I'm in it.
Yeah, I think Christopher Nolan does a really good job as far as marketing the movies because things like Tenet come out, and even like the big budget, The Dark Knight. I remember Heath Ledger's Joker was such a big mystery up until almost the release of the movie. So I think those are excellent examples of really good marketing to not give. Come on, man, we're fans. I don't want to be spoiled.
Yeah, I want to be surprised. I want to be surprised. And oh boy, CQ, don't get me started on people that wreck things on Twitter right away. Oh my gosh, it's one of my biggest beefs. I had a roommate who I used to live with, God bless him, and he would spoil everything. I had to avoid him at all costs. If I knew that a new film was coming out or anything to do with Game of Thrones, anything that was that water cooler talking point. He came back from watching Force Awakens. He'd been to watch like the 8 o'clock showing, and I was going to go see the 10:30 showing, and we crossed each other on the way to the cinema. And he was just like, the killed hand, man. And I was like, oh my God. Oh no. Yeah.
You just got to think of it like that scene at the beginning. Like, I know he's gonna die. It's just
oh my gosh.
Early preview of this scene.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, sorry to tank the interview with my pet peeves.
Not at all. This is my favorite part of it, man. This is when we get to know the man behind the camera. The actor behind the characters, I should say. Yeah, and my God, this has been so much fun, and it has flown by. I could do this forever.
It's already 7 o'clock.
When you're having fun, man, the time flies when you're having fun. We'll absolutely have to do like a part 2, and then we could really like we'll just critique movies and things, and we'll just
yeah, just show me around everything that you've got.
We'll do the whole tour. So
I keep seeing, every time I look, I see something new.
Yeah, is it my favorite? I'm a big Back to the Future. That's my favorite. That is the flux capacitor. It's signed
next to Ant-Man's helmet.
That's right.
Next to the Infinity Gauntlet.
And that's
is that an alien queen above Thor's hammer?
That's a football helmet. Close.
Wait, above Thor's hammer on that shelf?
Right there. That is. It's very poorly lit up, but it's a.
It looks like the alien queen's like head from what it looks like on my screen.
Now I know what I'm missing. Now I know. Thank you. I know what I'm missing now. I need a xenomorph head right there.
We have up on our wall. I don't know if you can see.
The Mona Lisa with the face hugger. Very nice. I like it.
It's very arty. It's very very
very fancy. You living your best life, man. I respect that.
I've got, what have I got up here? We've got Optimus Prime and Hot Rod, and we got my Transformers collection is something else. But
we'll compare toys the next time we talk, man, for sure. I want to make sure I give you the chance. We didn't even talk about Dr. Death. I'm so sorry. This has been so much fun,
okay.
But well, first, where can people follow you? Where can they support you? How can they see what you're doing and stay dialed in?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm at Dominic Burgess, and on Instagram, I'm at Dominic Burgess 1. Someone else got there first. It's a whole lot of cat content. I have 5 cats. I'm popping up on Fantasy Island in a few weeks on Fox, and then a whole bunch of stuff that I'm not allowed to talk about. But I'll be out there somewhere, popping up randomly.
Well, we're gonna keep an eye on you. Excuse me, and we're gonna, anytime we hear an announcement, man, we're gonna share it on our pages and our social, because you're now a friend of the show. So we have to support you. Everybody. The chats have been lighting up, not specific questions, but we've been talking about everything you've been saying, and everybody loves you, man. So we've talked about what's coming up. We've talked about how they can follow you. I try to be punctual. I've asked for an hour. I only take an hour. So with that, sir, this has been a true honor. Guys, I'm going to toss it to a break while I say goodbye to my guest. We will see you back in a few minutes. Everybody say bye to Dominic. Bye, Dominic.
Thank you so much, everybody. Take care.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Scratching
Hey, everybody, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Let's see if my ever-loving co-host is back. Mr. Radar!
Whoa! I'm
Why-
here.
why is
Hey!
It is.
Hey, everybody!
I can hear you, but I can't see you. Where are you at?
Well,
Let's see.
My camera is on.
Yeah, hang on. Come on. Do it. Do it for the vine. Do it for the vine. There he goes. Jesus Christ. It was I had to pull you from the multiverse. I've had to pull a variant from you. This version died, unfortunately. I locked him in the closet and he strangled. But we've got variant radar here.
Variant. We have variant radar.
So that was Dominic Burgess. How awesome was that interview? How much fun that guy? I really like him. I really do.
It was way fun. It was way fun.
He is.
I'm happy.
He is a true thespian. He's a true guy who enjoys his craft. No ego whatsoever, and like I keep flashing back to all the stuff I've seen him in, and I wanted to say to him, but I didn't know how to say it without it sounding insulting. But I meant this in the most positive way, and what I wanted to say was, I've seen you so many times in so many different projects that I love, but every time I saw you, it was like seeing you for the first time. Not because you're forgettable, and that was my concern, was that it sounds like, oh, you're forgettable, but because he brings such a life to that character. You know, when you see a guy and you're like you put Kevin Hart in a movie and it's like, oh, that's Kevin Hart. You put him in Jumanji, oh, that's Kevin Hart. You put him in like, that's Kevin Hart. Like, he doesn't become the character. Like, he's Kevin Hart in another movie.
Right.
I really feel like Dominic, he is, every character he plays is so unique, so individual to that role that I didn't recognize him, even though he was Kilgore in The Flash, and I love The Flash, even though he was Embry in the Magicians, and I love The Magicians, and even though he was in like all these things, American Horror Story, and all these shows that I love, but I never connected him to the other roles that he's done until I saw it like on paper next to each other, and I was like, holy shit, he's been in so many things that I really like. So yeah, so I didn't know how to make that sound not insulting, but I really meant it from the nicest place in my heart.
Right, and that's tough. That's tough because we're not smart. We're not good with the words.
Words.
But
words elude me.
He's fantastic. I'm a fan.
Yeah,
a huge fan.
Definitely a big fan, and I'm gonna keep tabs on this World War II thing he's doing, and kind of watch it as it goes along, and maybe we'll put up updates and check in, and want to show the guy some love and support, and make sure we shout him out. I really do recommend it. Sam Did It is this little short film he did. I think it's like 12 minutes. It's not even, it's a short film, but it's worth a watch. It's very entertaining. I'll send you the link, Radar. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, please do.
But it's entertaining, man. What he did with, basically it's just him acting to Alfred Molina, who's just laying on a slab. You know, there's a little bit of other, but the majority, 90% of it, is just him acting to a dead Alfred Molina, and it's good. It's good. It's entertaining. But anyway, that was a lot of fun. Mr. Radar.
Yes.
I know everyone's on vacation and whatnot, but
yes.
Can you tell the folks at home, more or less, what a typical week here at WTF Nation Radio would be like?
Typical week, a stereotypical week, if you will, because we're doing radio. Just kidding. So typical week. Normally, tonight is Tuesday night, right? Tuesdays, we have Pop Culture Warrior with CQ, who is you, and Radar, who is me. Okay? Now, tomorrow is a Wednesday. Wednesdays this week and all weeks is a Donza Day, a day of no scheduled activities. We've always had Wednesdays off. I've been here forever. Always had Wednesdays off. Sorry about it. Thursday, normally, Sergeant's time. Big Sergeant things. Ice, Spanky, big swords. Doing all the sergeanting that needs done. Keeping you abreast of all things active duty. National Guard, Reserve, retiree, DOD civilian stuff. All of those things were like, oh, what's the Army doing? They got it for you. Okay. Now, Friday night freedom. See how that kind of rhymes? Those two F's in the front doesn't really rhyme, does it? Anyway, it really rolls off the tongue, if you will. So, Kaz and Pookie bring you Friday Night Freedom on guess what night? Fridays. Saturday and Sunday is the weekend. Days of no scheduled activities. Don says, we'll have it off. You should take it off too. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, do all the things that you love to do. It's the weekend. Okay. Then Monday, we're going to bring it back. Okay. We've got some more radio stuff to do. We've got Ice and a co-host. Sometimes Flash, sometimes not. Flash is a very busy man. But I was on vacation. But normally it's Monday edition. On Monday nights, Ice. But he's on vacation. Just let him be. It's almost over. Summer's almost over. He'll be back. Ice is chomping at the bit. He's just got to have his vacation. Let him be. But the highlight of that is the day after Monday is Tuesday. Tuesday is Pop Culture Warrior with CQ and Radar. And it's cyclical. We'll be back every week.
Much like the sacred timeline, it just goes round, round, round. Mm-hmm. Much like Radar's bubble. Just goes round and
Oh, I wish you were good at that stuff and you could make it the blue fucking of the sacred timeline around me.
Oh, you don't think I could?
Yeah, that'd be pretty tight, wouldn't it?
You don't think I could?
I mean, maybe you could.
Give me like 6 months. I can make it happen.
CGI abilities, but I feel like if you could, you already would have. And I would have the Lady Loki. I'd have the Sylvie broken horns and everything.
Well, I'm not that good. I
wonder if I could do that with my headset. With this part, have like a singular. I'll get some deer horns.
Probably, yeah. They'd do it in deer horn. I like that. Put your little radar spin on it. Speaking of Ice and coming back and chomping at the bit, for sure he is. I'm excited because when he comes back, it's gonna be different. It's gonna be like an Ice version
2.0.
Icier, if you will. Will he be icier? I think he will be. It'll be ice squared. Yeah. Ooh. Squared ice. Oh. I don't know.
Cubed, if
cubed
you will.
Ice. Ice cubed.
Yes. It'll be ice cubed.
God, I hope he's not watching this. This is so stupid. But yeah, no, I'm excited, man. He's got some stuff planned for his shows and for his setup and everything. It's gonna be, I might be helping get some things in motion.
You know what I really should do eventually, and we've talked about this for years now. Mm-hmm. I should probably set up my shit so I could do a show too. I mean, we've talked about it. We've kind of went back.
I think the people want it. I
don't know if they do or not.
People want it, man.
Maybe I could just do all story time.
Yeah,
it'd be fun.
Yeah, you could bring on other people. When you don't feel like doing story time, you bring on someone else that they can do story time.
Yeah, I mean, because trust me, Radar stories are not that much fun, and we would run out of stories in like 3 weeks.
I doubt that.
Like, remember that one time I was sitting in Taji and I didn't do anything for like 3 months? That was pretty cool.
So much fun. Speaking of which, next week we do not currently, at the moment, could change, have a guest scheduled. So, I am of two minds. One, second hour we play games with the audience. That's always fun. Or two, second hour is a little more story time. So, I think I might throw up like a poll.
Why don't we do this? Because you didn't really get a chance to really finish your story. Kind of Reader's Digest the end of
it. Yeah, kind of. pittered off.
I mean, if you want to get more into that story or other stories, why don't we just do like a story time next week? And I'll throw in some radar stories. And you can throw in some CQ stories, and we can kind of
Sin on YouTube is saying do story time now and then games. So yeah, I don't know.
I mean, we do have a little bit of time if we want. I don't want to do like a 10-minute story.
Yeah. Well, that
if
and
we're gonna
yeah,
do a story time. I think we should do some biggins.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. If we're doing story time, it's for those that missed it last week, I went into the whole like how I got shot, how I died.
From the time you were a fucking boot.
That's true. Because
dude, you
can't
did a synopsis of your entire Army career in about an hour.
About an hour. My entire military career. Now, again, that like it was more of like just to give the reason I talked about like, what job I was in and how I got connected, because to understand who I was, where I was when I got shot in Afghanistan, you had to understand, kind of the tour in Iraq, and to understand the tour in Iraq, you really had to understand how I was in basic airborne and showed up to the unit and then missed the jump and all that. So like, I felt like it was, it was the parts that you needed to know.
It's a stack of dominoes.
Yeah. Because there's so many stories. Like I got stories for basic, I got stories for airborne, I got stories for
I think
Italy.
The story that I need to tell, because I've got a couple. Okay, everyone knows like I was in the Marine Corps, right? And I've said that time and time again. But I retired from the Army. Okay, and so there's been a lot of questions. I've got some questions in the past. I thought you were a Marine, but I thought you were in the Army. And so maybe I should actually tell the story of that.
Yeah, we can
do that
do that
transition. Maybe that's the story I'll tell next week. Yeah, kind of do a little bit of synopsis of that time and
Yeah, this is what we'll do.
That's what I'll do.
This is what we'll do. No, I got an idea. I'm gonna put a poll on the Pop Culture Warrior page, Pop Culture Warrior Facebook page. Put a poll.
Okay.
Gather some votes.
I'll share it on the radar page as well.
Then, at the start of next episode, next Tuesday, right? Because we're gonna do the first hour, same as we always do. But at the start, I'm going to lead off with, hey, this is what was voted for. If you like different, because you're tuning in right now, like throw up hashtag games or hashtag story.
Well, or what we can do this too. We can start with the regular, okay? Mm-hmm. And then maybe give them one last chance to vote.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying.
At the break, right, when we go to break,
we divvy it. We figure it out.
Check the poll, and whatever the poll says, then we'll go with it.
I'll be ready for both. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Fair enough. That is the oh shit. Fuck. I'm gonna die.
Well, if you can't talk, maybe we should cancel the show next week.
I'm really hoping that by next week I'll be all right. That being said, I'm also gonna throw up where in the world is CQ now, because come Thursday morning I'm getting on a plane and I will be somewhere.
Well, Sturgis is over, so you're not here for that. Ooh, we should be a poll question on this too, because I'm torn.
Okay.
So the bike ride, the race that I have on my shirt right now, the Black Hills Super 6, right? It's 6 miles, but it's a loop, and you have 6 hours to complete as many loops of the 6-mile course as you want, as you can, right? Mm-hmm. The winner is who did the most laps, least amount of time, right? I'm debating if I should ride it again this year or not. And I'll tell you why. Since I've had COVID, I can't fucking breathe. Right? I've had trouble, especially right now with the smoke and all that other bullshit. I've had trouble with breathing and walking up a flight of stairs is fine, but getting on my bike and actually pushing myself and climbing mountains on my mountain bike has become difficult.
Sure. Okay.
So I'm in this mode, if I do it, it's going to force me to open my lungs up and maybe I'll get better. Maybe I'll get over this bullshit, or I'm going to literally die. So I have not put in my thing yet. So I don't know if I should do it or not. Maybe that should be a poll, or I'm just being.
I don't want you to die.
I mean, I probably won't. I'll probably stop before I do actually literally die. but I'll
Yeah.
figuratively die. Because last year I did rather fine with it. My wife and I were a team. We were a relay. We did fine.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things you got to train for, and make sure that you're in a good
I've done
physical
zero
place.
fucking training all summer because I ride like 2 miles and I can't fucking breathe and I die.
Well, then I agree with Sin, and I'd say don't do it. Take care of yourself. Make sure you're in the physical.
Yeah, but then I don't get a new T-shirt.
I'll buy you a fucking T-shirt.
All right then.
I don't want you
Actually,
to
I think the best T-shirt I got is the one that you did give me that I wore to Sturgis. I was happy with that. That was one of my favorite pictures. I should make that my profile picture on Facebook.
Yeah. Although
anyway,
it's so weird without the headset. It's hard to recognize you. You sent me the picture. I'm like, why'd you give a random person your shirt? And then I was like, oh, that's Radar. I'm so used to seeing him with the the big old earmuffs. Hey, it's Radar.
Yeah, I have ears. I really do own ears underneath this thing.
All right, man. Hey, guys, this has been an absolute pleasure and a delight. This has been a fun episode. We had some good times, some silliness. It was a phenomenal guest, Dominic Burgess. We talked all types of cool, fun stuff. Looking forward to seeing the next episode of What If. We'll talk about it next week, and also Free Guy in theaters. I'll let you know next week.
When is Shang-Chi?
That's September 3rd.
I really want to see that. The more
3 weeks.
Well, we were on deal. Okay, so I was kind of doing a little bit of googling it. I really want to see it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a watch. It's gonna be worth a watch. I'm putting my stamp on it now. Boom, thumbs up, worth a watch. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Shots.
Shots.